Okay, so Chandra asked for a demonstration of how to do some of the more basic, or not, I shouldn't say basic, some of the more uncomplex permit creations and cases from CSS to start to finish. He asked to do one of them for encroachment permits, so that was I was like, okay, I can do that. So I'm about to share my screen right here, and please let me know if everyone can see it. I think we can.
Yes.
Currently, I just went to the homepage. As you can see, I'm already logged in, so I can just go right to apply. I'm going to hit all. I apologize if I'm going a little too quickly there for that. I'm going to slow down right here. I'm going to hit show categories right here. Now, I am going to get rid of some of these categories, like the demolition ones should be removed, as well as the commercial plan submittal and commercial over the counter and CFC plan submittal. Those will all be removed, but some of these will still remain, like land development permits. I'm going to click on that one, and it shows 6, so there are 6 ones available right here. We have an excavation permit, we have annual permit for utilities, we have a permit for commercial driveway, permit for residential driveway, and a permit for sewer lateral, as well as a tree stump. For this example, I'm just going to choose annual permit for utilities. Is that correct? Unless you want me to choose another one, Chandra, please chime in unless you want me to choose a different one.
Do a residential driveway.
Residential driveway? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to hit permit for residential driveway. It's going to ask me for a location. I'm going to choose a location. I'm going to choose, let's see if there's okay, 1678 Buena Vista Street, Ventura, California. It adds the parcel data right there for it. I'm going to hit next. It does require me to add a description. We can change this as need be as well as more testing happens, but I am adding a residential driveway for 1678 Buena Vista.
Let's not make it required and take out the
Okay.
square feet.
And take out the square feet as well.
Yeah, because it's a residential driveway doesn't, it's
Mhm.
based on number and not
Okay.
on the square footage.
Okay, we have the applicant right here as the contact. And then these are the other custom fields. I know beforehand you also said you wanted this just being removed. So
Yeah.
so this is not going to be there anymore. So please ignore this. I do apologize. And then we have the ability to add attachments right here. Now for here, it should just be a completed and signed application, or what should this be that they're attaching?
It can be an application.
Okay, I'm just going to be a completed and signed application. I'm going to hit next. And this is the review and submit page. I'm just going to go right ahead and hit submit. So we have this nice little message, but you have 72 hours before the application might be processed. I'm going to continue to permit. And this is my permit number. My application completeness review here. You can see the workflow here, and we have issue permit, and then you have a list of inspections that you might need. So I'm going to go through here. I'm just going to take this one, this encroachment permit number, and I'm going to go to the back office right here, and I'm just going to put this one in here. Sorry. This permit doesn't have anyone assigned to it. Again, you could have gone through the manage my advanced search and gone through permits that were unassigned and then reassign this one. You could do it that way, but I'm just going to, for the sake of time, I'm going to go right through here to do that. I'm just going to assign this thing to me, assign it to Ben Bergman. And you can see right here, I had the description right here. I had the IVR number. I'm going to hit save. Now, this is the issue. This is here right here, the application completeness check. You're going to look through this. if I'm going to say I'm going to start this right here, I'm going to start the review, or I can wait to do it into the review coordinator. And so I'm going to wait until do the review coordinator just for the example. I'm just going to show you, you have the ability to do it from right there as well. And we have the file down here in the review files. That's the completed and signed application. And then we also have the information that is given and that gets updated during the review, correct? Or during the application. They would update this, correct, Chandra? They would go in here and just make the correct adjustments to this. So let me see, I'm gonna have 2 residential driveway openings. I double check to make sure. Put that in there for that. Save. Now, I do have a question, Chandra. Should this be an encroachment basic fee firing off on that, or should it just be just the residential driveway? I do apologize. Sorry. Chandra? I'm sorry if you.
Sorry, I had to take a call.
Oh, no, you're
Apologize.
fine. Should there be a base amount right here of an encroachment basic fee coming on here, or is this incorrect? I do apologize.
Did you add 2 driveways in there?
I did.
Okay, so then it's fine.
Should there be a basic fee right here too?
Yeah,
Okay. So yeah, I added 2 right here to residential driveway
Okay.
openings.
okay,
You have the described work area. You also have a cost estimate if you need to add information, as well as
Right.
tree stump removal, sewer laterals, signal sites, and so on and so
Right.
forth. And I am at this point, so you have the fees. You can, invoice them for the fees and get those paid for before the review happens. But I'm just going to go quickly right over to the review, manage my reviews for this. Or sorry, review coordinator. I apologize. And the reason why it's coming over for review coordinator is because I want to just use that manage my reviews app for it. And I'm just going to start the process of this application. All right. I'm going to mark this as in review, update. And I'm just going to go right here. Oh, sorry. Hit review, receive the submittal. It's going to be assigned to Ben Bergman, and it's going to be in review. And I'm going to go from there.
Do you have to do this step, or can you just start off with add permit and just generate the permit straight away? That's the question.
The question, yes. So you could go ahead and Chandra, you could go right from. Sorry, let me go back to the permit right here. If you went right back and just looked at the workflow from like right here and just did your application complete, let's say the documents all look good, you could go right into here, create the review and say this looks good, and then say it's done and complete it and approve it from right there.
Right. Okay.
But for this example, I'm just going to go through right here. I'm going to hit complete task. It's immediately going to send that review to whoever needs to do it. And then just in case if you needed other documents, it can have use for it. That's the reason why I'm saying that.
Okay.
So I'm just going to open up this review. I can add corrections if I wanted to see if I needed more documents added, or if I wanted to, look at the Huddle House PDF, which would be the complete and signed application. You could go ahead and do that. But if at the end of the day, if everything is good and you don't need any more documents, but Chandra, how many times do you need more documents usually for residential driveway? How many other things are needed sometimes?
Not many times.
Not many times, so just the application will be good enough? Okay.
Yeah.
All right, then at this point, we could just say approved all documentation is good. Please allow city 48 hours or 72 hours to issue permit. All right, and I'm gonna just hop right back over to this. I'm going right back over to my review. All right, review approved submittal right here. I'm going to take my e-review files and I'm going to say that this one was reviewed and it is approved. Hit update. And I'm going to close the Bluebeam session right there. There was no markups done in there because I didn't actually go into the Bluebeam session and mark anything up on that. And at this point, I'm just going to hit Bluebeam session closed and complete that task. So at this point, let me see if I can just refresh it. The application completeness review has been completed. And if you're looking for the citizen, what they see, I just go right here. They would see that the application completeness review has been completed. If they go to their reviews, that can be turned on and off. Chandra, should they be able? They should see the review for that, right? So make sure. I just have to turn that on in the back.
Yeah, that's fine.
Give me, okay. All right. And at this point, you would go ahead and you would want to issue the permit, correct? Or you want to make sure the fees are paid. I just want to make sure.
Yeah.
So if I'm going to make sure the fees are paid, I'm going to just take this and go hop on right over to the fee one. Hold on one second. I'm going to go right to fees and I'm going to hit pay now. I'm going to say that they took in that money in cash. And I'm going to complete that transfer. So now the status says paid in full. If I go back to the summary page, there's no more fees to pay, and then we can issue the permit now. At this point, the citizen, let's see if I can go real quick to that. The citizens should see that the status is issued and they have available actions to do requests for inspections. Now, a lot of these inspections on here are not correct. And so for a lot of these are just don't have any priority. for right now, all of them have been added. And the only one that they should not be able to do, and I also make sure of it, just scroll through these inspections, is the final inspection, and that one is the only one they should not be able to do at this moment.
Do we have to do the inspections, or can it be a request inspection? And when the inspection is being done, the inspector can check what it was. It was the concrete, it was the formwork, whatever. I mean, he can do. So from the citizen side, it should be just generic request inspection. And the inspector, when he does the inspection, should be able to pick what it was that he was inspecting.
Gotcha. Okay. I'll have to get back with you on that one, Chandra, if we can try to get that to work correctly. But so you pretty much, it's pretty much if the initial, I guess if the citizen does not know what the inspection they want,
Yeah.
you want them the
Or the
ability.
sequence. Yeah.
The sequence.
It should
Okay.
just be, it should just be generic request inspection. And that way, then when it comes to the inspector, he can sign off on what it is that he inspected.
Well, my question to you is we can put certain things in sequence if that helps them actually go in sequence. That's not an issue there.
I know,
But
but it may be they can't be calling for inspections on that specific stuff. That's what I'm saying.
okay. All right.
Generic inspections from the resident should be good enough, and the inspector can actually do
Can
the
cancel it
cleaning.
and actually make it the real inspection. Okay.
Yeah,
Everything.
yeah.
Okay. Okay. All right. Just look at everything in here. I'm just making sure I have. All right. So I go through the workflow and I look at my permit inspections. I'm going to ask this Chandra question for you. You want all of these hidden, right? Pretty much you just want to have that
Yeah.
generic one. Okay. So, all right.
Yes.
All right. Let me just try to see if I can just do this real quickly. Sorry.
So Jason, if you hide all those and he has to add the inspections that are possible for that permit, that means the citizen won't be able to request that inspection until he adds it.
You just
And
request inspection.
Well, what I'm
Citizen
saying,
side,
go ahead, Nelly. Sorry.
so what I was saying is if the inspection is not on the list on the CSS website, the citizen can't request it through the CSS website.
Yeah, and that's what he was trying to say. He wanted the ability to. They request an inspection, and it would just be a generic encroachment inspection, and the correct inspection would then be scheduled for them, and they would just add it. It's more work for people in the back office, though. That's the only thing. Does that make sense, Nelly? I guess. Sorry if I.
It sounds like you're having a placeholder for inspections, so it's not a real inspection. It's just a step or an action.
It would still be an inspection because it's the only way you can request it. It would just be whenever someone, I guess, whoever's in charge of scheduling the inspections would have to figure out what inspection was needed for that encroachment permit at that point.
So Chandra, you would know based
yeah,
on the permit request what was needed. Okay.
right. The inspector would know. He's inspecting, the permit is for a residential driveway, so he'll know what inspection he needs.
All right, let me just put this as a skip right now for this moment. I'm just trying to get down to some of these. Hold on one second.
Nelida, currently we are not doing inspections through EnerGov. So that's why it's a lot more detailed. And I don't know if we are really going to that level of detail to document every step of the inspection.
Well, the inspection checklist is only a pass or fail. There's not like detailed questions. So it's
I know,
basically going to just document that they were there and if it passed or
right?
failed. Yeah.
I know, but for all the land development permits, there are a whole bunch of inspections to cover all the different permits. And so that's what would show up every time you ask for an inspection. You'd have to list out all these types of inspections, some of which may or may not be applicable.
Okay, I am just going to do my asphalt and pavement one right here. I'm going to request this one. I'm going to request it for tomorrow, or sorry, for Friday in the afternoon. Okay. Dated. Now that request inspection is going to go right back over to the it's going to go over in the back office to the inspection manager dashboard. And if I just, sorry, if I just go and refresh this page, you should see some information of what's going on here with this permit now. So the last thing that happened right here was requested. The request date is for the 5/14/2021. And the inspection status right now is requested. If I go to the inspection manager dashboard, I'm going to look at requested inspections. I'm just going to open up inspection groups. And this one right here is, it's under engineering. We can change the grouping of this later, Chandra, but right now I have it for engineering. And I'm just going to say the inspection requested. I'm going to assign the person who's going to do it. I'm going to say Mark's going to do the inspection. I'm going to choose a date, and it's going to be today. That's where it goes. The citizen, when they look at it, at this point, if I hit back to here, sorry, right back to my permit. Sorry. I just clicked on my work and then my permits. And I'm just going to type in ENCR to try to find this encroachment permit. It's right here, right there. And if I look at my inspections, I can see this inspection, it's scheduled. The request date was for 5/14 and the scheduled date was 5/12, but I can see it's been changed. And it also shows me the other inspections that the final inspection cannot be done until the prerequisites have been done.
Mhm.
So I'm just going to go back into here. I'm going to go right back to that permit, and I'm going to pretend like Mark doesn't have an iPad and can't do his information out in the field. I'm going to say Mark came back. He went and did the inspection. I'm going to open up this right here, which allows me to open up the inspection. It has the ability to add information on the regular comments. This inspection is for the 2 driveways. Permit. And then I can add a checklist right here of general comments. I can say pass or fail if I want to say passed right there, and I can put comments. Both sets of asphalt look up to code and then I can just hit save right there. And then I can actually say the start date and when it was completed. So I can say it was started on the 12th and was completed on the 12th, both in PM. Save. So if I go right back to this permit now, this should be completed. I'm just going to reload the page right here. Second, let me just double check. Might have forgotten to do one thing in here. Yes, the inspection status, that needs to be changed to passed instead of from scheduled. Now that it's been completed, this should update right there and allow the citizen to request the last inspection. So now that's been passed, citizen, we go back in here. I go right back to CSS now. I'm going back. I'm just going to refresh this page. Ooh, sorry. I have now the final ability to add the final inspection / sign off for this.
Mm-hmm.
And so I can just request that now. I wanted to move forward. And then once that would happen, you could move on to the permit closeout. So for this example, you have to request it and everything else. And so it would be the exact same process we just did. I'm just going to put in a date of tomorrow. It's going to be there. And submit. I'm going to go right back into my inspection manager dashboard. I'm go back here and I'm going to just look again for my inspectors. I can see what's going on there, who's got what, and I can also look at my inspection groups. I choose engineering. And I'm going to assign Chandra to do this one. And I'm going to make him do it today. Assign it. And if I go to schedule and assign, you should see today's inspections by resource. These ones that are all complete. And you can also show the ones that are completed today. So Mark has completed one inspection. And you can show all the ones that are incomplete right now. So Tim right now has one that's incomplete, and so does Chandra. I just up. Let me just refresh this page right here. Chandra has the last inspection. Again, no iPad out in the field. And I'm just going to update this in here. And I'm just going to pass that. I'm going to change the inspection status to approved or passed. Sorry. And at this point, if I go right back to this permit, we have everything's been completed except the last thing, which is just the permit closeout general action, which they would just go in there and just make sure all the fees have been paid for. There's no lingering things. If you need to send any documents out to them, they could get that information out to them as well. And you would just hit permit closeout right here, and you would complete this. At this point, you would also go to I got to make sure that that shows complete right there. And then you have a final date for this. And if I go right to my citizen as well, I can see everything's been completed on this. Fees been taken care of within the invoices, reviews. Again, you have your inspections in here, and you can look at your inspections as well. Again, I just got to turn that review thing on. That they should be able to see that. So I do apologize for that. Sorry. So is there any questions on this process, I guess I should say?
That looks pretty good, Jason. I mean, the information that the client can now see the resident,
Mm-hmm.
each step of the way, he can look at where his permit is, which he doesn't have right now. So that's pretty good.
This is Tim here. I had a quick question.
Sure.
Within that inspection, just to throw out an example, we'll have someone who will call in a lath inspection where they're looking for a exterior lath, and we'll have a drywall or interior lath assigned to it. Is there a way to just change the inspection type within that, or do we have to create a whole new inspection?
So you're saying like in the inspection dashboard, you're saying, manager? Let me go.
Yeah, sure. So like
So if, let's say someone requests an inspection right here, and I'm just going to open this up, I guess.
sure.
Let's say. So let me see exactly. If I can do exactly what you're trying to say. The only way you would be able to change, so like if I guess what you're trying to say is if they are asking for a exterior when they actually really need to do an interior prior to that, you would have that ability. But you would have to go into the workflow and actually manually do it though, instead of them. If they called in, you could actually see what was going on with them, like what's going on with their information. So like they need to do like an insulation inspection prior to certain things, or right here the interior versus exterior. They'd have that ability. So it just it's all down to yeah. I mean, yeah. So for your example again, if someone called in for an exterior and they meant an interior, you could just schedule them for an interior. But if they already requested one online, you would have to manually go in here and unschedule it and schedule the correct one. That's what you would have to do, unfortunately.
Okay.
Jason, I think he was asking if he was in the field, so he
Oh.
would still have to have
Sorry.
access to a laptop, because I don't think he can do this with IG Inspect.
Okay, so you can't modify it within IG Inspect while you're out there. You'd have to come back and have a.
You would have to have access to this screen.
Okay.
Hold on 1 second. Just trying to double check on that one real quick.
Reason I'm asking is just with our current version, if there's an inspection number given, we're able to change the inspection type within that inspection, kind of, on the flyer when we come back to take care of our entry. So I wasn't sure if we're going to have to, unschedule or just put that the inspection didn't take place and add another inspection in that sense. So just trying to get clarity as far as that goes.
Yeah, let me give you more clarity, I guess, on this one, because I think you should be able to. For some reason, it wasn't allowing me to pull up all the records for the parcels yesterday, and it's still just not allowing me to do it for my IG inspect right now. And so let me give you more clarity on that. I can send an email off to you and include that with Nelly and the rest of the group. That way you get more clarity on that one, Tim.
That'd be great. Just it happens all the time where somebody will call, or I'm sure that we'll have people online, click. They'll tell us, they'll book an inspection for something to get us out there, and then we go there, and sometimes there's additional things we're looking at, or sometimes they've called or scheduled the wrong inspection. So just trying to see how labor or intensive it's going to be for us to make sure that the record keeping is correct.
Gotcha. Hold on 1 second. All right. Actually, there is a way to change it to an available inspection. There is a way, Tim. I can see that, and I can see to add inspections onto that same piece of property as well.
Okay, and that's within IG inspect?
Yes. Out there in the field, and add optional inspections. So you do have those options. I can send screenshots to everyone on here. And if I can show you right now as well. Just give me 1 second. I just have to hop off the VPN. So if you want me to do that right now, I can. So just give me 1 second.
I think it'd be worthwhile for fire and public works. You guys think that'd be worthwhile?
Yeah, I think we can. It would be good.
Okay.
Yeah, excuse me, I agree. I like that.
So Tim, just a heads up on that too, we were able to limit the inspection types per our permit types. So they can only call building permit inspections for the BLD permits and only PEMs for the PEM permits.
That's great. I think that'll help quite a bit.
Yeah, I hope so.
Hold on 1 second. Stop sharing. I'm just trying to get connecting. There we go. There we go. All right, can everyone see that screen mirroring screen?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So if I just go home right here, I'm just on an inspection. I already did an inspection yesterday, and let's say you pass the setbacks one. I'm just going to review this. You can go to this button called Changes, and you can do change inspection type right here to any of the ones that are listed on that permit right there that are available. So you can change it to, I guess, a floor and nailing one, and then you could reassign it to another inspector, or you could also reassign it to yourself as well and have a rescheduled date. As well as from that, you can add an inspection and choose an inspection type. I want to add an epoxy anchors, and I want to make sure that this is happening, now. I want to add that inspection. And it's going to create a brand new inspection out there in the field for it. And then as well, I can also add an optional inspection. So from this, you would go to inspections, and you can look through the inspection list. I want to go, well, I see that this has, a certain type of permit on there, or if there's a citizen's request or a courtesy inspection that could be done, you could also add, a citizen's request inspection for that and add that. So you have all those abilities within each one of those when you're out there. And so if I just hit home again, it's going to download my inspections in that corner. Let me just see. Change my pending inspections. Let me change the date to today or tomorrow. Let me see. We have pending, or is it tomorrow? I do apologize. Or today, I mean. We have the epoxy here one, and then we have the citizen's request we just created. And you would just go through here, hit review, and you would go and begin your inspection like you normally would. I'm going to add my general comments and hit add. And that way I can say, and then I'm going to fail this one. It's going to make me change status. It's going to do reinspection required. And then I can add more inspection comments to this. And then the same would go for the citizen request as well. You could go right through that and do that one as well. Hopefully that helped you answer your question about that, Tim.
Yeah, I think that was good. Are you able to go into the inspection, that citizen's request, just for example?
Yeah. It's going to go right here to review. It's got the exact same things all the other ones have.
Just since we haven't been in there too much, so we'll show contacts.
Shows history, shows what's been going on with other history of other inspections going on.
Excellent. And then the attachments, I know yesterday had some the applicable drawings. Are those going to automatically translate with when the permit gets, I guess, issued? That will those automatically be set up to be in there?
Yes. So once the permit gets issued, all documents that have been moved over to attachments can be viewed within here.
Okay.
So
and then that notes, just to see kind of tab-wise what we're working with in there.
Notes is that's just an internal note. So that can be seen from the review coordinator when this was added in the review coordinator. But like, if I were to go to that permit, or if you can go to that permit, which is, let me see if I can find that real quick for you. It is COMP 0521 0073. If you go to that permit right now in the system, you should see a thing on the left-hand side called internal notes. It'd be like right here or that one.
Yep.
And since I'm not in the VPN, you should be able to see that's the exact same notes that's on here. And on here as well, you also see a code case property hold that was released as well.
Okay.
So, yeah, that's any questions on anything else involving IG Inspect?
Not for building and safety. I don't know if fire or land development have some comments.
I think we're good. It has a lot of, I think the inspector handle it.
Jason, this is Ian. Are we able to edit the inspection type information, not necessarily in the field or on the fly, but prior to go live?
Yes. So like what they're actually called, you're saying?
Yes,
Yes.
just because the epoxy anchorage one is misspelled, and before we give it to the public, I want to make sure
Oh,
it's
if it is, then that's my fault. If it is misspelled, I apologize for that.
no problem.
All right. All right, I'm gonna switch right back over to the VPN, so give me a few seconds on that.
Thank you very much for shifting over. I appreciated that.
No problem. I wish my iPad allowed me to mirror into a VPN. Unfortunately, it doesn't.
Thanks, Jason. That was pretty good. I think it helped the inspectors to know that they can make changes and add inspections based on things out in the field. That is something that will be useful for them.
Okay. All right, I wanted to change focus now. I am going to apply for a fire services permit. It's going to be very similar to the building services application, but I just wanted to change gears for that real quick, if that's okay. Unless anyone has any additional comments on permits like this moving forward for grading and improvement, as well as floodplain and everything else. I didn't know if anyone had any questions about that before I started going to a fire services one.
I'm good, Jason.
Okay. All right. I'm going to go back right here and I'm just going to apply. I'm going to hit apply again. And I'm going to go right to permits. And I'm going to choose the first one, which is a fire application. So this one description is a fire protection application for fire alarm, CFC, sprinkler, above ground storage tank, underground storage tank, etc. So it's going to be very similar to what we just did for building services, the way it's going to be set up. All right. It's asking me to log back in. Let's do that real quick. So the first thing it does ask for, it asks for a location, just like majority of other permits. I'm going to add location of 1245, and I'm going to do 1245 Carlsbad Place, Ventura. So for this one, it shows two different parcels associated with this. I'm going to choose the one right here in the bottom. And this might be a thing for the city to answer. Should they choose both? They can. So I just want to ask you guys, how would you direct your citizens to move forward with this? Because there is this other parcel of a 999. I don't know what kind of parcel this is.
But Jason, 999 is typically like common areas in condos or townhomes, or apartment buildings.
Okay. Is anyone getting an echo from my ever since I go back on VPN and back off? I just want to make sure everyone can hear me correctly. I do apologize if you can't.
I can hear you.
Yeah, you're good on my end. Thank you.
Okay. So, all right, well then, if that's the case, and I'm just going to remove that parcel then. I'm going to hit next. Again, we have the description here. We are going to make it exactly like building services where the description isn't required. I apologize, Merritt, I did not make that fix. Okay, we have a fire permit for water-based protection services here. I'm gonna hit next. Applicant is right there as well. And then we have a more info page right here with the described work. So I'm just gonna add my described work. This is a just gonna put that information in there. And then I have the ability right here to add the completed and signed application. That's the only thing that's required at this point. Here's the Huddle House job application again. And I'm gonna hit next. If I also knew what everything else is needed. Right now we just have cut sheets and plans. And Merritt, please let me know if there needs to be add more, we can always add more for that. But right now that's what we have. I'm gonna hit next on here. And I'm gonna submit those plans. Or this application for it. If I hit continue to permit, it's going to show an APPF 0521006, and we just have an application review currently right now. All right, if I go over to my advanced search over here, again, this is just the one I'm just going to hit that again. I'm going to go right to unassigned permits. I'm going to hit this launch area. And make sure when you go into this, when you go to advanced search, you just go to manage my advanced search. And we have it unassigned permits. I'm going to launch that. And I'm going to look for all permit types with application date. I'm going to hit the up arrow twice, and it's going to go right down. And it's with APPF right here, 0521006. That was the one I just submitted. I'm going to open that up. And if I go look through this, I'm just going to add myself to the assigned to for this. I'm going to say I am working on this. So there we go. I'm going to hit save. And at this point, I can see that there's a file on here. I can look at that file. I'm going to open this up. Okay, this is the job application. I'm going to go over to my review coordinator from here. I'm just going to open that up, review it. And so I have my APPF 0521006 right there. I'm going to open this up. I'm going to mark that this file needs to be in review, hit update, and I'm going to intake the submittal for this. Now, if I wanted to, potentially you could also add more item reviews for this, but since this is just a application review, we're just going to leave it to one person. I'm going to make sure that one person is Ben. Ben's going to look at it. I am going to go over here. And I am going to start and sync my Bluebeam Studio session. And if I go to my reviews, it should be right there now if I just hit this button. Here it is, my APPF 0521-006 application. I'm going to open this up. I can make, if I wanted to, I guess I could make markups on the application itself, but if I could also just see what the application looked like earlier. And as well as you could also go from the studio session, even though it's not needed here, you could also have that open for it. At this point, you could also say that this application is complete, but let's say, for example, you are requesting new documents. So I'm just going to say I need the cut sheets and the plans to move forward with this. I'm going to mark this status as requires resubmit and say, please submit cut sheets and plans to move forward. It's going to kick that back now to the review coordinator. I'm just going to I'm going to update that real quick. I have it right here. I have a review failed for this. I'm going to open this up. And I'm going to allow new CSS uploads since I need those two files added now. And I'm going to change the status to I need required for resubmittal. Reason being, I want please add information from the cut sheets and plans. All right, I'm gonna close the studio session. And I'm going to complete the task. So it's going to go right back to the citizen again at this point. At this point, the citizen will just hit my dashboard. I should see 7 here. Yep. I'm going to go to my attention for the permits. I'm going to click that button over there. And I'm going to go to the APPF 0521-06 because it says I failed reviews. I need to resubmit files. So I just click on that right there. I can see my reviews right here. I can look at it. I can say, please submit cut sheets and plans to move forward. As well as if I go click on my attachments, I'm going to add cut sheets right here. And I'm going to add my plans right here. And then it's asking me to resubmit after I do that. So I'm just going to go right here. Cancel, sorry. All right, it's just creeping along. So give me 1 second.
Jason, I have a question.
Sure.
The customer So are they attaching the documents under reviews or under attachments?
It'll come up on their thing on attachments.
Okay.
In the back office, it's considered a review document, and
Mhm.
attachments in the back office are also approved documents. So they're documents that are approved that everything they've looked at, like, no, these are good. Any review documents can go back and forth, and they can become multiple different versions of themselves.
Okay, thank you.
No problem. This thing is still thinking. Sorry. Let me see if I can. Okay, it just got to the end, but it let me just reload that anyway. Okay, let me just, sorry, hit cancel. Let me add that cut sheets again in plans. I do apologize for that. I hit OK right there. I'm going to add those cut sheets and plans, and then I have to resubmit right here. So it's immediately going to make me acknowledge the comments moving forward. Now, if you're looking for responses and looking for back and forth for that, you need to make sure that you add a correction to that. I did not do one for that, so I'm just going to hit next, and I'm going to select a new file to put there for that. I'm going to hit submit. Now that I have submitted, go to my review coordinator, it should automatically populate with 3 new documents for that one right here. So I have 3 new documents for APPF 0521-006. Is the easiest way to know from the back office when a citizen actually submits new files for their permit. I'm going to open this up. Okay, I can see that what they've added. I'm going to go and open this right here. And at this point, no allow new CS uploads has been turned off. I can go and select these files. I'm going to say in review, hit update. And I'm going to receive the submittal again for this. Making sure this goes right back to Ben. Here, okay. And I am going to start and sync a Bluebeam session. Now, this again will just go right back over to Ben. And there should be my reviews. If I click on this button, currently there's only 2, but once I refresh it, it'll be 3. Just like in the review coordinator, it said there's going to be 3 in there. We have the APPF 0521-06 right there, and I'm going to open this up. Now, if everything has changed like we think it is going to be, I can also go into my studio session and look at each one of those documents. I can make markups beforehand, as well as I can see the review summaries from when they were started, from when they were completed beforehand as well. And if there is no more corrections, or if I need to add, I can always add here again. But for this, I'm just going to approve that one. And I'm going to approve this one as well. And then I'm just gonna hit OK here. Pending assignment, approve. This application review has necessary documents moving forward. It immediately cuts it right back over to the review coordinator. And if I see review coordinator, it should be in the bottom to have a submittal task right here. It does. I'm going to open this up. I'm going to make sure every one of these files, I'm going to make sure this one is approved as well. And I'm going to close this session. And I'm going to approve of saying that this has been completed. So all three files will now be moved to attachments, saying that these were all approved by. So at this point, if I go over to my APPF right here, if I just refresh that, look at right here. It says it's 100% right here because there's no other things in the workflow that have been necessarily started. But if I go right here to link proper case at this point, I can add information of what we're going to add, as well as we can see all the review files, what were submitted, and I can see what were approved. So these are the ones that are all approved. And from my citizen point of view, if I want to see that, I'm just going to refresh this page. And I could see what's here. Okay, we can see that one was declined and then this one was approved, as well as the comments that were put in there. And then if I go to the attachments, I can open up each one of these documents that were approved as well. I can also see the history of them as well, when they were uploaded and what had corrections versus what didn't. And then this one just says it was just immediately approved, while this one originally had corrections, and you can open up the old file as well. All right. I'm going to just go right over to this, and I'm going to change I'm going to change my details for this to subrecords permits created. I'm going to hit save. And then I am going to create from here, from this link proper case, I'm going to create a water-based permit, fire protection systems. Now, in my description, I said I was going to make a commercial, multifamily, or other new. So that's what I'm going to do right here. I'm going to select that right there. Hit save. And I'm just going to create this right from here. I got to go here and make some small adjustments to this one. I do apologize. All right, so we can see the main parcel right here, and this address, I don't know why it's not coming up right here. That I do not know why. I will have to look into what's going on here on this address over here, or this. I got the GIS information owners over here, and I'm just going to hit next. I'm going to assign this to myself. The description came over with it. I hit additional And then the describe work came over right here as well. So I can add the number of heads to this. Say it's 34. And I can also mark it if I needed to, if it's a Thomas fire. Now, those errors that popped up were coming from the JS information. There is some fields that are missing here. That's the reason why it popped up. And if I just go right here, I see myself as the applicant again. Let me just double check on the application date. Go with. So I have my applicant right here. I'm going to go to my files. I'm going to add the plans and cut sheets from what was originally approved. So for example, I'm going to add, this is my, oh, sorry, wrong one. I'm going to add this as my plans, and then I'm going to add my cut sheets as well. I'm going to hit attach. I'm going to go to my fees. So I see I have a plan review fee, inspection fee, I have technology fee, and a general plan fee right here. I'm going to hit next. And I'm going to finish this out right here. Okay, so at this point, sorry, you've intaken this information. You can get the fees right here. I'm going to turn this allow new CSS uploads off because you want to make sure before you go to the review quarter, you don't want them just, adding a bunch more documentation for this. And we have the ability right here to do the fire plan review. We can receive the submittal from there. So at this point, if I go to my review coordinator, it should have already been in there. It should be 2 new files for WBFP 05210052. And at this point, you're going to start your whole entire review of those documents and actually start doing your Bluebeam documentation. But prior to that, I want to say you have the ability within the WPF, before you start doing the review, you can also link this permit to another permit. So there is a workflow step in here called link permit case. So you have the ability right here, if I just choose link permit case, I'm going to go in here and I can link this permit case to a COMP or anything else, or an RESP, sorry. And I can just say, let's see. But for this example, it wouldn't make sense to link it to a residential, so I'm just going to link it to a commercial. I'm going to link it to this one right here. I'm going to hit save. And so now that case has been linked. If I go to my linked records, you can see it's linked to that permit as well right here in the system. As well. And then I'm also going to just take care of the fees right now before the plan check. So give me 1 second. I'm just going to show you what the dashboard looks like from this APPF right here as well. So if I refresh the screen, this is the APPF. This is the original application of this. You can see the fire protection, water-based systems has been started right here. The location's right there. You can see the reviews were completed. And if I go to my sub records, I can see that this is a sub record of that. If I open this up right here, I can see that it's been linked already. And if I go to sub records as well, I can also access the COMP as well from this if I wanted to, since that has now been linked to the correct new major residential permit is what it says right here. What the type is. Let's double check on that. I don't know why it says new residential permit right there like that. I'll have to look at that. So the reason why you can't see anything on it is because I am not a contact for this permit. So I can see that I'm linked to it, but I cannot see any information on it. Hold on 1 second. All right. And I'm just going to go over right now and pay my fee for this permit. I'm going to go to my fees again, and I'm going to hit pay now. So this note over here, we can also remove that note if that's unsightly. I do apologize about that. It just says up to 50 heads because anything times it goes over, it gets increased per head, I think, by an additional amount. I think that's the
That's
reason why
correct. So we can remove that note?
Yes, we can remove that note.
Okay, okay.
All right, I'm going to take in a credit card payment. Actually, I'll take a check payment right here. Check number. Put our routing number in here as well. Boom, 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 boom. And my account number. And I'm going to complete this. I'm going to hit done right there. Now that those fees are paid, I'm going to go right over my review coordinator. So I do apologize if I'm skipping around. I just want to make sure. I'm going to go right to my review coordinator and actually do the review now that the fees have been paid for their plan check. Open this up. I'm going to select these two fees again, make sure they're in review, and open up a brand new Bluebeam session. I'll also receive the submittal. And for this, right now, the only two item reviews for this are a fire consultant and fire staff. If anything else needs to be added to this, please let me know. Merritt, I'm just going to delete this fire consultant out since I don't need the consultant to review it. I'm going to do it as the fire staff. I'll make sure Ben Bergman's that person right there. Going to go right over here, and I am going to start and sync this Bluebeam session. Look at my permit status. I have $0 of unpaid fee totals. Good there. I can add more. I can add notes that would end up showing up again in the inspections. My Bluebeam studio session created, and so I'm just going to say I'm going to start my task. Double check. Yep. I'm going to start my task right here. So once that has been started, it's immediately going to kick me right to, it's going to have one review for Ben Bergman for a fire staff review. I'm going to click that manage my reviews right here. Normally, if you're going to assign it to someone else, you wouldn't be doing the review. But just in case you were assigning to yourself, you could easily just do it like that. I'm going to click this open right here. and I am going to do the review for this. So I am going to click the studio session here. And give me a minute while the review opens up. And I'm going to situate myself to potentially add a correction or recommendation or condition to this. Hold on 1 second. Let me show you the review. Go. So again, it's going to open this up for the building plan. I'm right here is Jason Huffnagel. I'm going to do my review right here. I'm going to make some call outs. Where are the add another one over here. And then you could also go right through here and
Am I the only one that
add
sees
this
a
last
black
one
screen?
and just say,
I was about to say that, Melly. I don't see anything on my screen.
oh, you see a black screen? I do apologize then.
It
Sorry.
says that you're starting to share, but it's still a black screen. I thought it was just my connection that was delayed.
No, it's still loading. That's what's going on right now. Hold on 1 second. Now it's frozen on my end. And it says Cisco web service is not responding right now. Hold on 1 second. Nelly, if you can take back the sharing right now for it, it might just allow me to share again. I do apologize.
Let me try it since I'm the host. Let's see if that'll kind of override it. So, sharing page. Link. And you should be able to take it back now, Jason.
Mine is still freaking out, apparently.
Oh.
I can see Kurt's screen.
Mine's still saying I'm sharing, unfortunately. Hold on 1 second.
Maybe
All right.
maybe that's the universe telling us it's time for a break. I don't know.
Yes, then we can take a break right here then. Let me just, because I'm gonna have to reload Cisco, so give me 1 second, Kurt.
All right, so should we take 15 minutes? It's at 2:40 right now. Come back at the top of the hour, 3 o'clock. Give you a little time to troubleshoot too and take a break. So 6 o'clock your time, Jason. 3 o'clock our time, everybody.
Okay.
I'll leave the screen open. I'm just going to turn off the recorder for now. Pause it. Started.
Okay. Sorry about that. A little confusion towards the end of just 2 seconds ago. This is the Bluebeam session. These are the two documents. I added some call outs here and some markups. So I'm just going to make another one right here as well. All right. And then you have on this page as well, I have some other call outs as well. So make sure everyone can see that. I have one right here, and then I have one right here as well. So now that I have done my reviews, I'm going to hit the X button right here and close out of my review. It's going to leave the session. And I'm going to add some corrections onto the manage my reviews. So the reason being, I'm going to search for fire. I'm going to do new project comments right there. I'm going to search those. All right, I'm going to use this correction here, modify it. This requires separate permits. I'm going to add that right here. And I'm going to just leave the information there. This does a little duplication. We can change this right here. Maybe say right here. Let's do. I'm going to update that right there. And I am going to go over and add a recommendation. And I can also add a condition here as well. I'm just going to see what we have in here. I'm just going to add a general condition. And this general condition, I'm going to go in here and write this up. Can we turn recommendations off? Yes, you can turn recommendations off, Anne-Marie. You just need to let me know which item reviews need to be turned off for. That makes sense, because each one of these reviews is considered an item review, and each one has their own set of things they can turn off. They can turn off corrections. You can hide recommendations. You can also hide conditions as well. So if you just want the reviewers just to add corrections, you can just have that set up. I'm just going to add this. Yes, we'd have to just go into every single one of the item reviews, Veronica. I was just addressing Veronica's question about that. All right, let me just do this permit from. And so I'm just going to add that condition right there. I add a recommendation and a correction. So at this point, I'm also going to go to these over here. And I'm going to make sure each one of these is requested for resubmittal. This one's resubmittal. The numbers of heads do not match up. The placement of the heads is not up to code. I'm going to go over here. Sorry, I'm going to go over here. I'm going to complete my item review right here. I'm going to say this requires resubmit. Please look at the corrections. Recommendations, and markups and conditions for resubmitting. After that's done, it's going to immediately kick that back over to the review coordinator so I can close that Bluebeam session. Hit this button over here. Here it is, the water-based fire protection systems right there. I'm going to go right in here into my Bluebeam sessions and just get that over. All right, I'm going to reopen this up right here. See that these things have both failed. I don't need to allow new CSS uploads since there's nothing else for them to add. I'm just going to close this session. It's going to take a couple seconds to think about it. So, Anne-Marie and Veronica, if you you guys both vote to get rid of that, as long as we have, if that's okay for everyone else, I can easily turn that off for every single item review. Okay, see a thumbs up from Anne-Marie.
I think my thumb is stuck. I vote yes too.
Okay.
I don't know if like fire or public works, if they like that. I don't know. They want to say anything.
All right, as you see right here, I have 5 different callouts. I have a Cloud Plus different callout here as well. These are all the markups and tells me what pages they were on. Boom, boom. And I'm just going to hit this button right here and I'm going to close this review and it's immediately going to go right over to the citizen for resubmittal of these documents. Now the reason, oh, so go ahead. So who's about to say something? I know, I think I just cut someone off, so I do apologize if someone was about to say something.
I think that was just the chime of somebody coming in or leaving.
Okay. All right, I'm going to go right over to the citizen. I'm going to go my dashboard. It's going to have a 7 here. If I click this red 7 for attention, it's going to immediately tell me that this one has failed reviews and it needs attention. It should be towards the bottom since the permit number is a WBFP. It has its failed reviews. It needs to resubmit files. So I'm going to open this one up right here. I'm going to look at my reviews in here. I can see what's going on. I can see I have a comment in here. I have a correction. I have conditions. And so I can look at that information right there as well. If I open my attachments, see that. And I'm going to, I want to click open. I'm going to just want to click on this building plan and see what it looks like and see what those documents have been going on with it. So I'm going to open this up right here. And I can see the markups that were made on here that I just did in my Bluebeam session. See that number of heads is incorrect right there on that one. Exit out of that. And if I want to see this landscape plan right here too, I can look at this. So it gives the citizen a little bit more understanding of what's going on prior to resubmitting from the markups. Okay. And I'm like, all right, let's resubmit after I'm going to look at the comments in it. Okay, markups, conditions before resubmitting. Okay, I look at my correction. Okay, I need to do that. Okay, I can look at my recommendation. Okay, cool. I'm going to hit resubmit. So I have, these are all my responses. I can respond to each one of these markups. I'm going to hit respond right here to this markup. Right, and then I have these ones as well. I'm just going to put I'm just going to add that last comment right there. I'm going to hit next. And it brings me to the review, what was going on in here. And I can look at the comments, I can look at the correction right here, and I can look at the recommendation. I can also look at the correction right here. I have right, and I'm going to acknowledge that I did this as well. I'm going to hit next. So there is this condition right here. The condition, this can either be acknowledged at the end of the review, or this can be taken off after the review. And I will explain shortly. So pretty much a condition is, if you do this, we'll allow this to happen, but you cannot finalize the permit until the condition is either satisfied or deleted. So, so for this condition, I was just saying that if you add any more heads to the permit, since I was saying that for some reason, the documentation of the plans, they said there was, only 38 heads, and they were actually, so they paid for, but on the plans they showed 58. I mean, it doesn't equal out to what was needed, so we'd have to charge more. And I also said that they'd also need to apply for a fire alarm permit to proceed. This condition will just be met with in the back of the office. But for example, if they did go over and you could have that condition still on the permit, so you can never finalize the permit until that condition was met. And what I mean by that is, or satisfied, I should say. And what I mean by that is, on each one of these permits, if you have a condition right here, let's see if I can just refresh this. This condition has to be satisfied right here for it to be continued with. So I would never be able to fully go to a final date until that condition was met. So this condition can stay on there until that happened. And we'll go right back here, hit next, and I'm going to resubmit my files. Okay, I uploaded my files successfully. You can see the history of these. This one has corrections right there, and they both have corrections, and the date was uploaded and what version. So at this point, I'm going to hop right back over to my review coordinator and put my hat on over there. I'm going to hit that button, and immediately it says I have 2 new files to review. I'm going to open this up, and I'm going to select both of these files, and I'm going to say these are in review. I'm going to receive the submittal again. Someone can be fire staff, and it should just be Ben Bergman, like it is. And I can also look at the review history right here if I wanted to. Second, I'm just gonna start and sync the Loom session from there just to make sure it connects successfully. Studio session was created successfully, and now I'm just gonna hit this button, complete the task. So at this point now, the review goes right back to Ben, and he's gonna go and review those brand new files. And at this point, he'll also be able to see the responses that were made from the corrections as well as the markups on here as well. So I'm going to open this up. I can see the response summary to each one of the things that were said. So I can look at this. Okay. Boom. All right. Let's look at that. All right. Let's look at that. Let's look at that. Ooh. Okay. I can also see that they potentially, if I look at the studio session, which I'm going to open up right here, I'm going to move the review open up over there in a second. All right, there we go. You can see that it's downloading the plans. And now it's loading the documentation right here. Make sure everyone can see that. All right. And at this point, you would go through again and make any markups. You can even make markups that were potentially that don't need anything in here. Okay. This needs to be fixed. And so on and so forth as well. So I'm just gonna leave this session right here. I'm gonna go back to my conditions and say this one was actually no longer needed, or you can make it satisfied. But since the fact that they didn't go over, I don't need this anymore. I'm just gonna delete that out right there. And then recommendation, you could either delete it or leave it. I'm gonna still say they should still probably apply for a fire alarm permit. I'm just gonna leave it there. And then if I look at my correction, I can open it up and look at what's needed. Okay. And I'm just gonna say this is resolved. Oop. There we go. And I'm gonna take both these plans and say that they are approved. At this point, I'm going to go over here and just take my status, put it approved, and say comments. All right, I'm going to hit save there. This is going to go right back over to the review coordinator. And that is going to make sure it's closed for my studio session over here again. Back to my sessions list. And I'm just going to hit the update data on that one right there. And open this up right here. I have my 2 new approved documents right there. I'm just going to close this session. All right. I have my 2 markups on what they are right here as well. And I'm going to say complete task right there. So if it goes right back to the citizen, they should, I'm just going to refresh this page. They should see that reviews have been completed. And now the issuance can begin for the permit. If I go to my summary, I can see the fire plans have passed. The link permit cases was started right there, and reviews have been completed. And I can just look at that and like, oh, okay, cool. That's the information came from that. I can also look at my attachments, and I can open this up right here. This is the building plan V2. And this should show that call out that was originally saying that this was fixed. Yep, this looks to be fixed, and number of heads equal to the required amount for the size of the building right there. So now I'm just going to go right back to this permit. At this point, this permit it's been passed out of review, and at this point, the next step would be to issue the permit. And once this permit's issued, it has the ability to be, if I look at my workflow, it has the ability to have inspections. So I'm just going to issue this permit right here. Hit save. There's no more fees for this. The files have been moved over to the attachments as well. Go back over here. And I'm going right back to the details. After issuing, the status immediately changes to issued. We have an expiration date of a year, and that'll increase after every inspection date. Excuse me. And the citizen at this point would have the ability. Let me just refresh this. They have the ability right now to request inspections moving forward. So they could now request a hydro, overhead roof, or a WB partial. You also see that the final is there. I have to make an adjustment to make sure that you can't request the final. I also make sure about that. Okay. So for example, I mean, just like we did beforehand, with the other permits, you just go ahead here and request the date, and then you go ahead and do that permit. I would go ahead and do that inspection. Now that's going on, you would go right back to the permit, and here I'm just going to go right back to the permit. I'm going to hit summary. Yes, Tim. We are able to. I can show you how to finally close it out. I apologize. Let's go right over here. I'm just going to do this one inspection like this, and then I'm going to skip the rest of them just to show you exactly how you would go about doing that. I'm just going to pretend like I don't have the iPad again. I'm just going to go right in here, and let's say that it was requested, and We went to the scheduling manager. So if we went to, sorry, the inspection manager dashboard. I'm just going to assign this to someone, and then I'm just going to say it was completed in the back office. So hold on one second. So we have this inspection right here. I'm going to assign it to Brett. Brett's going to take care of this one. All right, now that has been assigned. If I go right back to the permit, I'm just going to refresh this. This should have it being, it's assigned and scheduled for Brett to take care of. Open this up right here. Manage the inspection. I'm going to pretend Brett came back to the office. He's going to just input the information. He's going to put this as passed. We're going to have the dates in there. I'm going to add some comments. This is good. And I'm going to add a checklist right here as well. Make sure it's passed. Right. Sorry, let me save that. I go right back to here. I just refresh that. That looks good right there. And I'm going to say, delete this. And I'm going to delete this one or skip this one. Testing. And I'm going to hit save. So we're good here. And the only inspection left is the water-based final, which I can just go in here and just say it was requested, it was scheduled. I can just do all this pretty quickly too. Let's say someone out there and put all this information. Immediately put Sergio in there, but I'm going to say Brett already did it. And the status, you can say it's scheduled. I'm just going to say, I'm going to hit create right there. And I'm just going to go into here. Second, let me hit save. I'm going to open up the inspection, and then I'm just going to say it was passed. All right. I'm just going to update this right here. And so that has been completed. All the inspections are completed. The last thing to do is just finally approval, a closeout, and also make sure that they receive all their documentation. So, Tim, when you say what would you do for closing it out, you would just go to this last workflow step right here. After every one of these things has been done, you would go right here to this approval, final approval and close out, and just hit this button right here saying it's completed. Everything's done with this. If I hit this button and hit save, all of it has been closed out at that point. I just double check to make sure, to go to the details. And I just have to make sure that the status goes to complete or finalized. I put final there, it goes to that as well, but I have to make sure that our Everything goes to complete as well. If I hit save, it's going to be completed.
So is there a difference between final and complete?
No, they both function both the exact same thing. They're both going to give you a final date. If you want to use one over another one, that just needs to be in there. I can just make sure that there's an IO that fires that status. It just depends on business practices of how you want the status to come through, be versus complete versus final.
Okay,
If-
that'll be a discussion I think with Ann and Ian. So.
Mhm. And then if I go to the citizen on their end, they should just see that as well. If I just hit this right here. And since I deleted that inspection, there's still probably going to be one inspection available. Actually, no, sorry. I thought there'd be one inspection over here, but as you see right here, it just all got approved. There's nothing on here in the workflow. It's 100%. And the only thing on here is that linked permit cases. And that's just letting you know that the permit that was linked with it has not been completed yet. So if I go right back to that over here, I go to my workflow, this linked permit case, this won't turn green until this permit is been completed. So this permit would have to be finalized for this thing to turn green. But at this point of view, this water-based fire protection system is complete.
Okay, I think that makes sense.
Okay.
And are there any reports or anything associated with this? This may be more of an internal discussion, but
there is some permits in here. So there's a fire permit. So
like an inspection record for this. I know our current process is after we've completed and filed the permit to print something so we can get scanned in for records, but I don't know if with this newer system if we're going to continue that.
Let me see what we have for inspection records. So the inspection history, I want to double check to make sure this is. So you can see what on here, this is the inspection history for what just happened on here. So we can see that there was a hydro and a final on here. And then you can also see that they had comments on here as well being passed
Perfect.
through.
Yep, that's what I was looking for. So
Okay.
Thank you.
No problem. And then this is the inspection card for this. It comes with the additional info of number of heads, and then if it has Thomas Fire, yes or no, the checkbox. And the contractor's information will be coming through right through here. With the inspection, with each one of these license types would be for like workers' comp and everything else. So I'm going to try to see if I can get one of those for you right now with the contractor on there. See if I can just add someone. I believe this is the one. Let me see if I can add this contractor. I'm going to hit save. If I do my fire permit right here, let's see what this comes out. So this comes right through here, has the company name on here, has the business licenses, as well as it gives me the license types. It gives me the state contractor's license, as well as workers' comp insurance on here.
So Jason, did you manually add this person? Or was
Yes,
it-
I had to manually add the contractor.
So we don't want the ability to manually add that because our verification that they have city business licenses is through PSI.
No, oh, no. Are you asking if I add the business licenses? That's what you're saying.
No, the contractor. Our
Well-
business license department adds all the contractors into EnerGov currently.
Okay.
So we don't add contractors manually because that's our safety net that they have their business license. And that's what that
Gotcha.
PSI connection is.
Mm-hmm.
So, but we haven't, that's not functioning yet, right?
No, it's not functioning. No.
And you just brought up a good point. So CSS is also for contractors. So they're going to be creating their own CSS account, but you were saying that another department adds them to EnerGov. So that's going to be an issue if they're using the same email address. You can only have the email address in there one time for CSS.
Well, they get added to, currently they get added to desktop. But I don't know how that works now with PSI and the link, because we don't know how that's working, because that information is supposed to come across. So that'll be interesting, you're right.
All right. Was there any other questions regarding, I guess, that process? I guess, Merritt, I should ask you from your point of view. I mean, you can, if you took any notes, we can make sure we can make some changes or adjustments to it. But is there any questions or that anyone else has for this process or the process earlier, I should say?
No questions yet, Jason. I just have a couple changes, but we can discuss that after the meeting.
So Jason, Veronica and I were in the system-wide reports, and the reports that we were clicking on weren't working. We were getting error messages. Is there a reason for that?
Do you know
Were you in Chrome?
Yes.
Yes.
And what kind of errors were you getting?
The same errors we were getting, Nelly. We have to do that.
That's server errors.
Ah, yes. Now I remember. I had put that in Teams, what you have to do in Chrome. I will look for that again and put it back in Teams for you.
So is that going to be go live too? What everybody's gonna have
Every
to do?
single person that uses system-wide reports. So all the cashiers.
There is a little thing they have to change. It does work. There's a little thing you have to change in Chrome to make sure it runs correctly.
Okay, I'm just confused because Nelly said cashiers. I'm talking about like the assessor report and other reports that have nothing to do with cashiering.
Well, the transactions report is under system-wide reports. So everybody that's a cashier that has to run that report, I think that's the one with the GL accounts that you say Treasury needs, they would have to do this, yes.
Pretty much everyone that's going to be in the system is going to need this. They need this tweak to Chrome moving forward. Nelly, I guess you put it in the chat, if you can find that as well, that everyone can potentially test out system-wide reports here and see what's going on. So let me try to look it up as well. But currently, the way the system-wide reports is, it needs this little tiny thing in Chrome to allow it to actually access those reports for system-wide. But you said it was the assessor's report, Ann?
Yes, and the pending plan cases and.
Yeah, I think there were several. I mean,
Yeah.
I couldn't open any of them up. Even the 30-day completeness one that you opened up, but I guess I need to do whatever that is.
Yeah.
I was talking about.
Okay. Yeah, it just. This is the pending
Nelly, is
project
this
one.
where we would search for the report on like Thomas Fire? Like final permits?
Yes. So if you're going to do permit reports, I'm going to check that right there. Give it 1 second. I know it says no reports configured, but it just needs 1 second. I believe it is Thomas Fire right there like that. So I'm just going to add a huge bunch of data in here just to make sure we have something. I hit run. And then these are the current list of reports right here for this that pops up. Permit number with the job address. It says the issue date, evaluation, and the description of work.
Can you run the assessor's report real quick?
Sure. So if I want building and fire in there, I can do that, and public works. So if I just want to see buildings information, I can just look through here. It shows totals right here. And that's just all. And so you can see fire shows up right there. And then you can see public works as well. But, so you can see total for FP, boom. But let me see if I can go back. Nellie, were you able to find those instructions? I do apologize. I know you found it originally from the community page.
Yeah, I don't have it readily available. I have to look. Was there any other questions regarding any other things moving on? I just want to make sure we got everything. I guess the last 45 minutes to an hour, I just want to allow people to go in there and potentially go from CSS and try to go through whatever they want to do. I mean, this would be up to, I guess, the group collective here of what do you want to actually practice out of this moving forward. Because
Jason, could you walk everybody in this group through the ability to have those reports so that the people on here can get in there and start testing stuff?
Sure. Well, I mean, for that, I mean, it would just be going to system-wide reports. So I'm just going to go to that. You're just going to type that in your Omni bar right here. And it's going to populate a screen right here. And then it gives you a report area. And so this report area, it says application reports, business license reports, code reports, impact case, and inspection reports.
Right.
For a lot of these, I would ignore a lot of these.
But what I'm saying is we're getting the error message. Can you walk us through what we have to do to stop getting that error message?
Yeah, I can. Hold on one second. I got to try to find that myself. Yeah, I can do that.
And I would suggest that everybody follow along because we're going to need you to help us test everything in here.
I just put it in the Teams again. It's a picture. It's not a text that I can put in this chat.
Can you grab that and just quickly send it to me, Nellie? And I can just walk them through how to do it. I do apologize for this one. Trying to see where I had it because I know I saved it from yours.
Okay, Jason, I just sent it to you.
I just got it. Thank you. Okay, so what you want to do in here, I'll make sure everyone can see this. I'm just going to hit a new page right here. You want to go to Chrome, colon, I believe these are forward slashes. Go back here and spell Chrome correctly. And then type in flags. And then I'm going to hit enter right there like that. I'm going to type in cookies right here. And I want to make sure to locate the item called same site right here, must be secure. And you want to change it from default to disabled. And then click the relaunch button at the bottom right. So I don't see a relaunch button here, but let me just see if I just change it real quick. I go to default. Okay, I see it now. Disabled. I want to hit this relaunch button. And then at that point, second, while it relaunches. At that point, you could be able to do the report. And please tell me know if you can still actually access the reports or not. I know that was pretty quick. If you need the instructions again, it's just website is here. It is Chrome : / flags. Has everyone done that? I just want to make sure. I don't want to.
Yes. Will we have to
Okay.
do this every time or just once?
Just once. As long as I guess as long as it doesn't change on your Chrome website. But whenever me and Nelly did it, I have not changed my Chrome website since then, and it's allowed me to move forward and actually access those reports since then. So Anne-Marie, can I share you? Can you share your screen so you can try to do that or no?
Yeah,
Sorry.
no, I did it. And I'm curious though. I just tried to run the assessor's report and
Mhm.
I don't have building as one of the options to select. It says fire and public works only.
That's probably because the date
I
range.
am building oh, that's
No.
right. I forget. If there's nothing in the date range I select, it's not going to show. All right. That's right.
Correct.
Thank you. Thanks for that refresher.
And so what Anne-Marie means by that is I'm going to go to system-wide reports as well. Let me see if I can go to one right here. This one, sorry. There we go. I'm going to go to system-wide reports. I'm going to choose the permit reports. And again, if you choose the assessor's one, and the date range is, only for a couple of days, let's say it's, 5/10 through 5/12 and run it, you'll see building and fire. But if I go back, let me hit back. I just want to see that one. I need to see fire. Okay, that one's been completed. If I go back and if I just change it to 5/12/2021 and run it, you're going to see fire in public works. So you only see what's in the date ranges.
I got the error message again, Jason.
Okay, Nikhil, let me see if I can see your screen. I do apologize about that. Let me transfer that over to you and let me just see what's going on. Okay, can you go to what I typed in that top, or if you just go right to the top of Chrome and just type in the regular search, if you just go right to that runtime error one, I apologize. And then just type in Chrome / and then flags. It's one at the bottom, that one right there. I guess. Hold on one second. Can you type in cookies? Just want to see one thing. Okay, so the happiness tracking surveys, that's not the one. It's the same site by default cookies. That's the one you want. So I would go back to the other one right there and just make that happiness thing enable or default. It's the one right there below. That's the one you want. And that's what I want to double check on mine again. But I apologize, actually, Nikhil. It has to be this word that says cookies with same site must be secure. I apologize. So just type in cookies right there. I apologize about that. Yeah, you want to make that one default. And then just type in cookies where the flag says. Search flags. And then you see cookies without same site must be secure. You want to make that one disabled. Yep. So you have, for this one, you'd have to take those values and make sure they come over. So if you click on one of those right there, yep. And then it's going to be at the bottom where it says show details. You have to hit, yes or no, or give it an answer. And so that's what we finalized today, that Carlsbad one, 1245 Carlsbad Place. Awesome. Can everyone else also access the reports? I'm going to take your screen back right here. Okay. Awesome. Thank you, Anne Marie. Thank you, Veronica. Right. Chandra, can you access that as well? So make sure you can do it as well. Moving forward. I'm guessing you're on another call potentially, or you're just on mute. It's okay. No big worries.
So Jason, can I ask you a
yes.
question real quick?
Sure.
About that report we just saw? So that's pulling only finaled inspections or finaled permits. So
Yes.
if it's complete, it's not going to pull it if the status is complete?
No, it still is. So if you saw
Okay.
that on the last report, it's still pulling the ones that complete. It's anything with a final date.
Good.
So
Okay, perfect.
Oh, okay. Yeah, my
Hey,
report,
Jason.
Jason, shows final and complete.
Did you have a question for me, Jason?
I just want to make sure you can access the what do you call it, the reports. You're able to do that and run a report.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay, Veronica, you're wondering about the search functionality?
Yeah, if we have time, unless someone else has another question, I've just been playing around with it and it seems, I just want to make sure I'm doing it right.
Can you share your screen? What's going on? Sure.
Yeah. Okay. So I have, so I went into search just to start off.
Mm-hmm.
That's not what came up before. I already have something. How do I go back?
So just hit that advanced search button right there. Sorry.
Oh. Okay, this is where I was.
This is where you'd be to create your own advanced search. So if you just type in, you go right to the Omnibar where that search function is, and type in advanced. Okay, so you see where it says manage advanced search, that's where you do if you wanted to just look at the ones that have already been created. If you want to create one yourself, you would go to add. And at that point you'd add all the different ones.
Oh, I think that's what I was doing. I did the other one and it asked for all these different fields and okay.
Yeah. So at this point you would look in here and go, all right, these are the ones that Nelly created for everyone. So right here you can see building and safety permits, you can see unassigned permits. You can also see unassigned planning projects. And if we want to make one more, let's say unassigned, I guess, plans that without projects, like let's say, for example, like the livestock plan with the system. I mean, I can quickly go through that with CSS, but that's very cut and dry and just allows you to go look at that information.
Okay, but going back into, oh my God, what did we do? Advance. Just doing this one. So unless we custom create a report, this would be the other way to search for things, right?
Yes, unless you really wanted to create an advanced search or something, yeah, you could go through there and then you'd add your fields. So,
Okay,
what I don't know what you just chose plans, so you could do by plan type.
Yeah, plan type.
You might also want to show plan number, or one of those other things, because these are all
This is
search.
this is the
searchabilities.
filter columns. So these are the things
Mhm.
that you're filtering by.
Okay, so then we filter however we need to, and then
You have to click outside of that box toward the bottom in the white
There we
space.
go.
There you go. And
I
now
did this at one point, but it was like it was hard to get to. Okay, so then I would say contains, and then I would
At least one
Select-
selection of this is
select-
required. So yeah.
select
you-
like
you-
all the coastal permits.
If you only want to see of that, and then you could also
Have to do
make
the
sure
same
you
thing
only
here.
want to make sure it has. You only want to see ones that are approved or submitted or anything else like that. You could also see other different statuses or in review. Yeah. So on this advanced search, you'd only find admin coastals of that, and then these would be the ones that. These are the information that it pulls when it comes outward. So it tells you the plan number. Maybe you want to see the address.
And you would just
these,
remove
yeah.
whatever you don't want then.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay.
So
it's
current-
on one. Okay.
Mhm.
All right.
And if you
right.
want to
So
manage,
this would be.
I was going to say, go ahead. You go right ahead.
So this would be the way to search unless Nellie has created some kind of, because Nellie has to do this, right? These reports here, Nellie created.
Yes.
I did the
she did.
same
Not
thing you
reports,
just did, but I shared them with others.
Yeah. So if you go right back to the one you
Okay.
just created, if you hit the net, if you go right back to the tab right below, right next to the one you just have open, it'll be sorry, three more
That's
to the
so many
right. To
tabs
the right.
open.
I know. Just move it to the right. I apologize.
Okay.
So right where it says advanced search is the last one. You want that one right there.
Yeah, I'm
sorry.
trying to remove the
The orange. Yeah. It's tough.
Here we go. No, there. Okay.
Okay, so you want to move
All
that
right,
one.
this
Right.
one.
Yes. So right here, Nelly, right, you can hit. Let me see if that's the button right there. So you can email those results right there. You also
That
have the
does not
ability.
work.
Yeah.
The emailing does not work.
The save does though, right?
Yes.
So if you hit that save button right there, you can name that and just create it for yourself, or you can share it with everyone else.
You
Oh,
only
okay,
want to
so-
share it if it's going to be useful for somebody else. Otherwise, everybody else has to go through all of your searches as well through
got
that
it.
list.
And you just, okay, and you do that by just clicking this
Mhm.
tag along.
Yep.
Yeah,
Oh,
but if you just want it for yourself, you can just hit save, and that those are the only ones that you see. And so when you go to manage my advanced searches, you'll see yours right there.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good to know. Okay. Okay, cool. Thank you. There's
So
tons of stuff in here.
No,
so.
no. I mean, to a certain extent, if
Yeah.
everyone wanted to go through and try to create their own, that might be even useful potentially right for this time period. So, Chandra only wants to see certain things for public works. He could do that as well for permits
Right.
for himself.
Okay. Okay,
And
cool.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
No. Thank you for actually bringing that up. That was actually, I think, a lot more helpful than you think to everyone else. So does anyone else have any more questions? If not, I'm just gonna show one more process within planning. I'm gonna show other ones since I know planning has that big planning project, but they also have other different processes within the system as well, including things like the 4-H, which allows animal raising.
Actually, Actually,
But-
Jason, could you do the temporary use permit one since
Yes, I can-
fire is
yeah.
involved with that one?
Yeah, I can do that. No problem. Let me see if I can do that pretty quickly. Right. I'm going to go right back to my home button right here. And I'm going to hit apply. I'm going to go to plans. And I'm going to go to temporary use. And it's going to be right here, temporary use permit major right here. I'm going to do that. I'm going to hit apply. It's going to ask for a location. I'm going to say it's at 1245 Acadia Place, Ventura, California. Again, it keeps putting these 999 parcel numbers with some of these things. I'm just going to eventually choose a different address and see if it comes up with that one. It does. Let me try this again. Well, 45. That one didn't have it, huh? I have to check out some of those 999 ones. Potentially that address is sitting on top of two different parcel data that overlap. I'm gonna hit next. The description is required right here. And Veronica, I think maybe you want to add that information, or unless you want to have this description actually be your event. I think because
Yeah,
planning does
yeah.
use that information. So
For
I'm just
this,
gonna-
yeah, for this case type, it would just be whatever however the applicant describes their event.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Big event. Lots of beer and fun. Might have a bouncy house. I'm going to add myself as the applicant on here again. And this is the more info screen. So it's what it's immediately asking. It's asking for description again, but I'm going to put the date of the event I want to hold it on. I want to hold it on Saturday 22nd. I'm going to put time in here. Sorry. I'm going to put for 4:30 p.m. Estimated attendance, let's say 57 people. Let's put 60 is a nice round number. Lots of food and fun. So you need to add the temporary use permit application. I'm just going to add that right here. I'm going to hit submit. After I just quickly review this, I'm going to hit submit. Continue to plan. And this is my planning number, TUP 05210026. If I search for this right in here, excuse me. Ooh, sorry. Oh, 26. It immediately brings me right to my plan. We are changing the confirmation application complete. It'll be very similar to everything else where you actually go through the process, making sure that application is complete and nothing else is needed, but actually the application is good to go. We will be doing that moving forward for all the other plans. This one has not been touched yet. I apologize. But if you go to your workflow, we have that in here for that. We would have that confirm application complete there, as well as you could see what's going on with the statuses and the additional info. Now, after the city would go through here and look at all the files, what other documentation would be necessary, Veronica, for this? What other files would they potentially need?
It would be the application and site plan.
Okay. So let's say, for example, I'm going to allow new CSS uploads. I'm going to let the citizen know that they need to bring over a site plan through that new application process. Since I can't do that right here, I'm just going to add those documents right in here. Sorry about that. I'm just going to add those documents. I'm going to add that site plan right here. Ooh. We need to add that, Veronica. I need to add that in there. Sorry about that. Let me see if I can just make one thing on here. Yep. And I'm just going to approve this one. Sorry about the confusion there. Immediately I jumped over to attachments. That's the application. I'm going to pretend like this is actually the site plan. I do apologize for this exercise right here like this. I'm going to say the application is complete. And at this point, I want to go ahead and collect the fees as well. I want to collect the fees for this, so I'm going to hit pay now. I'm going to hit continue. And I'm going to take in a credit card right over here. Credit card is present. Let's do May. Transaction went through. I'm going to just go ahead and put a check mark over here. I'm going to go back
Jason,
to the
really
view.
quick.
Yeah, sure,
Once an
yeah.
invoice, once it's paid, the fees are paid. If, say, fire wanted to charge for inspections, I could go back in there and add additional fees.
Yes, you can add a
Okay.
fire prevention check right here. So I wanted to go like this. You'd have to enter the exact fee amount for this. So let's say $567.
Okay.
Ooh, let me go back. I think it might be per plan check per hour. Hold on, let me double check on that one. Yikes.
Yeah, you can only add the fees that are listed as part of that template. So if a fee exists for, let's say, a permit, it may not be available for you here. Those will have to be defined ahead of time.
Okay, so it's only 567. I have to figure out why. Let me just do this again. If I just do fire plan check fee, I think if you just do one fee input, if you just put one, it should just get per hour. I think that's what it's doing. So it's $161
Yeah.
per hour. Okay. All right. I'm gonna hit save. And so you'd have to go through this whole entire thing, and I'm gonna hit pay now again.
Okay.
Take this in. And I'm just gonna do cash right here. I'm gonna hit done. Then we have everything paid in full. The invoices, you have two different invoices on here. I go to workflow on here as well. I'm just gonna say, all right, I collected all my fees, and I can move on to the temporary use permit review. Now, judging depending on the application, you would know if you need to make this if police or the fire team were needed for this. So I'm just going to say fire department is required and the police department is required. I'm going to hit save. And this is the event overview. This will be used for the report whenever the permit gets issued. So I'm just going to hit general for right now. And I am going to open up I'm open up the, I'm going to open the review coordinator. So hold on one second. Just going to open this over here. All right, I'm going to open up review coordinator. Hold on one second. Let me see if I can actually see that. Where is it? All right, hold on one second. Let me just bounce right over here. Sorry. Well, that's not the one at all. Hold on one second. I got to figure out why it's not coming over. All right. Instead of just trying to break that, I'm going to go through this and just going to add this to manage my reviews. We would normally see that in the review coordinator. So I'm just going to take this in right here. And I'm going to have police, fire, and planning look at this because I made sure that each one of those has a check mark next to it because this is going to have beer and alcohol at a party. I want to make sure everyone's safe. I'm going to hit create. And if I go to manage my reviews, open that up right over here, I should have each one of those reviews open right here. Second. There we go. Hit that save button. There we go. Let me hit over here. Let me just reload that again. Okay, so I have these 5 now that come across. I have the TUP 521 for fire, for planning, and for police. So police can go in here and they can make they would look at the documentation. This would be the site plan. I apologize. I know it says it's the application, but they would have the ability to open this up and look at the site plan, as well as make any corrections or recommendations moving forward. But let's say they approve everything, and please let me know if I'm incorrect in this, Veronica. We were going to add everything to the conditions for this.
Yes,
Am
I believe
incorrect in
that's
that,
right.
Or
No, I think that's right.
okay, let me see. Okay, so I'm going to do TUP for police. I'm just going to have 2 of these conditions. I'm going to say they're there, and I'm going to say that, police is done with this and approved as long as conditions are met. This
Is that comment just internal or does that come up somewhere?
That goes out to the citizen
Okay.
as well.
Veronica, are you looking for a place to put comments that don't show up to the citizen?
No, this is just all different from Silverlight. So before we didn't, at least I don't recall having a comment section. So we probably just wouldn't use that.
Okay.
And fire has the same ability too. You can do all the things we just did there for that. And I can add fire here as well. That's TUP fire. And I'm just going to add and food vendors right there. And I'm going to mark this good to go. And if planning had their ones as well, they could add conditions in here as well. Just going to add those 3. And I mark this approved. All right, I'm just going to go right back here. 1 second. Let me see if this thing jumped to review. I might not be part of the team for this. That might be the reason why. Got to double check. But let's see for review coordinator. Oh, there it is. I don't know why it didn't show up originally. All right. Let's say that. Look at this. This is good. It has been approved. And there we go. Let's say this is complete. Go right back here. Sorry. If I open this up right here, I can see that everything in here, the only thing left to do is issue the permit out. From the workflow, unless you want a close out button, which we can have later on. But if you wanted to just issue the permit, you can just go right here. I'm gonna go and hit this button. Since all the reviews have been taken care of, all the fees have been paid. I'm gonna save. And if I go to my additional info, I can also go to the report and add an event overview. This event requires alcohol.
Yeah, you can't come to it if you don't drink.
Okay, I'm just going to save this, and this information is going to go right into the report. So the report for this will be found in the print documents.
Mhm.
If I go right here, if I go to, let me see if I can find it, temporary use permit right here, and I just click on that print button right there. And so you can see all those conditions for each one of these gets forwarded in here. Let me see if I can actually export this to actually make it look a little better. There we go. So this is what it has in here. It has the event overview, it has the fire department. It shows the 2 conditions I have for the fire department, I have the 2 conditions for the police department, and the 3 for the planning conditions as well. Now, to make sure the contact person on the day of the event, I forget if I remember this correctly, we need to make sure one person on here is something. Let me see if I can just go through this list. I'm trying to think which one it would be. Primary contact, I think, might be what it is. So if I were to just run this board again, see if I can do that. And immediately brings that's the person to contact. And that's that for this one. And for this, you would make me and Veronica just need to make sure the plan status immediately it jumps to approved. But with these conditions, they just still stick on here, even though they're not satisfied for this. So these continue going for this. So, but that, is there any questions on this process? I should say.
No,
Sorry.
it looks good. Just the formatting on the report is a little off, I think, even when you switched it to did you do a PDF of it?
Yes, right.
Maybe, yeah.
Let me do
It's
this
kind
one.
of cut
Sorry.
off a little bit, but we can fix that.
Let me just see if I can export this one real quickly and see what it looks like.
But yeah, this will make things a lot easier. What do you guys think from Fire?
Yeah, I think it looks great.
Mm-hmm.
One-stop shop.
But yeah, as long as all the conditions are added, all those will end up being displayed. And you have the ability as well, I think, for those, they have like a general one where you can actually just make your own comments if, it's needed for a certain type of temporary use permit moving forward as well.
Okay. So I would work with Nellie on getting this formatted, right? Or how does that?
I don't have the software yet, so that's not going to happen.
Okay.
So is it just right here, I
Alrighty.
guess, on the sides? Yeah, I see on the sides, it's a little
A
cut
little
off on the
bit.
right-hand side. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, we can make some adjustments. I can try to figure out what we can do for that.
Okay, cool. Thank you, Jason, for showing that.
No problem. Is there any other questions? I don't want to. I mean, I know we're catching up to right before the time period, Kurt. I don't know if we want to. I mean, so please ask any questions right here, right now. I'm willing to go over if we have questions. That's for sure.
I think we should be able to wrap it up. You've been very good with the time, Jason. We have about 6 minutes left. If there are any last questions for Jason.
No questions. Jason, thanks for all your work. I think it was, you did a fantastic job going through the whole process, showing us both sides. I think we can make it work.
Okay. Well, and Chandra, I'll be willing to work with you in fixing some of the things we need to fix. Starting, I guess, what is it, 10 o'clock tomorrow, I guess.
Right.
Yeah, thanks, Jason. This, I think what's important is knowing what right looks like. Going through the whole thing and getting a good understanding of where we need to be. And so it's important to go through the whole thing. And I know that I need to just continue to do that, is just go from the CSS side and create the permit, do the inspection, and just go through the entire process over and over until I really get it down. But no, I think there's some good stuff in here.
So thank you, Brad.
Anybody else? All right, well, then let me just close with a few things. First, I'm going to go ahead and stop the video right now. Stop.